Hi friends, so we are going to make something really fun, really cute. I'm using mostly Dollar Tree items. I'm using the bamboo cutting board, the smaller one. I'm using the small little crate and a doily that they come in the 2-pack from Dollar Tree as well. And then also those bushes and blossoms that I just showed you are from Dollar Tree too. So I'm going to start out by painting the top of the board, and I already pre-drilled 2 holes at the top. So I'm going to start out with moss colored chalk paint by Waverly. Just put one good coat on top. Just make sure I get the whole top covered completely. I think this is such a pretty color. Kind of a country vintage color of green. I really like it. So I'm just making sure I get it all covered, and then I'll use my heating tool to give it a good dry. And now that's almost dry, I'm letting it sit aside for a while and make sure it gets completely dry. Now I'm using Burnt Umber paint by Apple Barrel, and I'm painting this little crate. Just one good coat and getting inside the little wooden pieces that are inside, putting it together, holding it together. Wanted to get it all as best I could. Just getting all the edges. One more side I needed to get here. And I almost forgot to take off the back tag, but I ended up getting that, I believe, off camera. Just used my heat tool and it warmed it up, and it just came right off. So I'm just giving it a good dry, and I keep checking and making sure my green board is dry too. Now I'm using my little gator sander. You can get these on Amazon or just about anywhere. And I'm just giving it a really light coat. I just wanted it smooth. And then I had this other sander that was rougher, so I'm just really roughing up and scraping the little crate pallet board. I guess it's a pallet, not a crate, right? I just wanted this to really look weathered and worn and vintage. So I'm giving it a good sanding. So now I'm going to put a really generous layer of Mod Podge all over this board. Wanted quite a bit because I'm going to put lace on it, and I wanted it to really stick. I'm just going over and over and making sure every little corner was touched. So now I'm just laying out my doily, trying to get it centered so the design is even. Now I'm pressing it down really well. Then I'm going to put even more Mod Podge on top. And it just really stiffens out the lace and makes it adhere well. And even off camera, I even put more on. So I put quite a bit of Mod Podge on top. Just making sure it was really covered and really sticks to my board. Now that I feel like it's covered really well, I'm using my heating tool, and I'm going to make sure it's thoroughly heated or dry. And now that it's dry, I'm going to check the corners, and I reinforce a couple with some hot glue just to make sure it wasn't going to pull up. Most places was down pretty well. There was just a couple spots I needed to secure. Now that that's down really well, I'm just using my scissors and go along all the edges, just cutting it flush with the edges of the board. Now I was undecided what color to put under my lace, and you could have put any color you wanted. I thought about it like a vintage red, a rustic red, but I'm kind of glad I put this green. I really like the looks of it. And I need better scissors. These are not that sharp, so I had to really kind of struggle in a couple spots. Just going around getting it real smooth. Getting some pieces that I missed. But it looks cute already. Now I'm just going to glue that little pallet towards the bottom in the center. And I'm first trying to decide where I'm going to put these bushes and how tall they'll be out of the top. Putting a good amount of glue on the back. Now I'm going to stick some Spanish moss down in there. And it may have been easier to do that first, but we managed. I'm just sticking it down in there, and I wanted a few little sprigs poking out of the little slats. So I just used my little needle nose pliers to get it where I wanted it, needed it. And I bought this fat quarter at Walmart. It's kind of like a muslin, but it's just a regular piece of cotton, cream colored. So I'm just kind of deciding on the little piece that I need to cut out. I just want to put a little word strip on the bottom. So I'm just cutting out a little piece, and I'm going to put it on the bottom of that pallet board, but I'm first going to dirty it up and fray all the edges. And then I'm going to use my little distressing ink in Vintage Photo by Tim Holtz. Just darken it up and get the edges. Not darkening it a lot, just mostly the edges. And just fraying it some more, so I'm pulling out some strings on all the edges. Now I'm just going to use my little letter stamps and stamp the word bloom. I have lots of craft paper tags that I was going to use. I have all kinds of sayings and that, but I decided I just wanted some fabric on there. Thought that turned out really cute. So I'm just going to hot glue it on the bottom slat of that palette. And I really like the looks of that. Getting all the glue strings off that are hanging. So I picked off a few of the sprigs of the eucalyptus, and I did get this from the Dollar Tree. Putting a little glue on the ends and then shoving it down there where I want it. Now I'm going to stick a few of those yellow blossoms in randomly. I thought I'd put a taller one in the back, kind of toward the center. And I kind of like doing things in odd numbers, so I tried to get just 5 of these on there. And the back one that I put in first had 2 blossoms on it. So then you'll see me put 3 more on. Almost off camera, but I needed to stand it up a little bit and look at it straight on for a minute. Wanted this one shorter, so I cut some of the bottom leaves off. Trying to decide where I'm going to stick it. That's cute already. So now I knew I wanted a bow, like a twine bow on there, but I knew I wanted something else. So I had this little, kind of like daisy little ribbon, and it's just super cute, just white little daisies going across. And so I trimmed off a piece the right length and hot glued that on the top slat of the pallet. And I think that was the look it needed. And then I'm getting 2 strands of my twine, and I'm going to wrap it around my fingers a couple times. And then I'll wrap the one end around the center a couple times. Not sure how many times it went, but probably at least 2. And then I'm just holding those tails where I want them until I get the hot glue on there. And I'm just putting it at the top toward the right. I didn't want it quite in the center. Just holding that on there until it dries. Then I kind of flare out the bows, the hoops, the loops, I guess they are, and the tails hanging down. I just get them where I wanted them. Then I decided to just put a basic little button on. Had a hard time getting my little button case open. Decided on just a basic little white button. And the last thing I'm going to do, I've got some kind of a bronzy looking wire. So I'm just cutting off a piece big enough for what I needed. Had a kind of a hard time getting through the back or through that lace. Like I said, I already had the holes drilled, but then I covered it up with the lace. But I got them through, and I'm just curling the fronts of them. And then I'm just grabbed one of my pins and I'm wrapping it around. And then again, going through the back. And again, kind of struggling to get it through the lace, but I got it there. And then I'm curling the front piece there as well, just so it will stay put and won't go back through the hole. And that is it for this project. Super cute. You could just sit it on an easel or hang it on a wall. Ended up playing with the top wire a little bit more, but thank you for watching. I hope that this inspires you to make something similar. Please like and subscribe to my channel, and you have a good day. Thank you.